How to remove the OEM 997 shift knob shifter to replace with my shifter that fits in with the factory shift boot. First off, you want to take the shift boot and turn clockwise slightly, and it might take a little bit of pressure depending upon yours. This one has been used a little bit for testing, so it kind of works a little bit easy, but it should be a twist clockwise, and you will notice the threads then are no longer at the 6 o'clock position but more about the 8 o'clock, and you'll see that it is nice and move and should pop down, exposing the base of the shift knob. The important thing to remember with the factory shift knob is that it is a friction fit press onto it, and to get it off you do need to apply a lot of force to pull it off. And a newbie thing that happens to almost every single person is the way they want to grab this and remove this will result in you punching yourself in the face. You have been warned. If you do this with your face over this, you will punch yourself in the face. I've done it, and so have countless other people. So that said, then you want to, once the base of the shift boot is down and moved, you can then manhandle the shifter up and pull it off. And eventually it will come off, exposing the metal shaft. Once you have that off, you can take the 3D printed part that attaches to the shift boot, the factory shift boot. You'll notice it has the factory style base. If you slip that on, you'll want to slip it all the way down. It should fit fairly easily on there. And what I would recommend doing is taking the aluminum piece and setting it on top first to make sure that the top of the shifter is pretty much flush with the top of the aluminum shifter piece, which means you might have to press this down slightly. This on top. Oops, there we go. It is now basically flush. Once it's flush, you can remove it. Then with the Allen key, gently tighten all 4 set screws. They do not have to be super tight, just tight enough that they start grabbing and you feel a little bit of friction. Because this is plastic, these will expand if you over tighten. There's 2 at the 6 o'clock and 2 at the 3 o'clock. Again, it should just be just so you start to feel the friction. And at this point, the shift boot is still not attached, so you can either at this point, with a counterclockwise rotation, anti-clockwise, you should be able to twist it. You might need to pull up, it might need to fit in there a little bit, and then twist counterclockwise, and then once again you will see the shift boot threads line up with the 6 o'clock position. Once that is on, we want to take the aluminum piece and put that back over and slip it on. Now, for the final production, I will have an arrow at the top pointing in the direction that this needs to be. I haven't decided if I will point it to the 12 o'clock or the 6 o'clock, so this will help you when you screw on the shift knob so that the shift pattern aligns correctly and not backwards or 180 degrees, because this can go on both ways. So if for my test, if I have done this right, when we thread this on, it should have the shift pattern line up correctly. So again, there's going to be a set screw, 2 set screws on this, a 3 o'clock and at the 9 o'clock. And again, you want to give this, tighten it. You can tighten these a little tighter because it is aluminum, and the aluminum will not expand like the plastic will. Once that's tight and on there, it's all good. We can then take the shift knob and screw the shift knob on. And I will do this at my shop, but I will line everything up so when you hand tighten it, the shift pattern will line up correctly. And once we are done, we will have a shifter that is aftermarket, fits in perfectly with the factory shift boot on the 997. I will be doing tests for the 991, 992, and their variants, the Boxster and the Cayman as well, because I do believe with the newer models, Porsche decided to make them all work the same way. The older Boxsters do have a one-piece shift boot, shift knob, which I will work on, but most likely will require a aftermarket shift boot that I will have to modify to make fit to this solution. Anyway, this is how to install the 997 shifter. Hope this helps. Take care. Happy shifting.